Hey you guys, this is Marlyn with Beautiful Bina Designs. I warned you that I'd be back soon with another card share, and here it is. This is my inaugural episode of 6 cards, 1 stamp set. Now, I don't know if that's a thing or if I'm making it up, but either way, I'd love to share with you some cards I made using this Hero Arts Stamp and Cut Eat Cake All Day. Do you guys see this little monster? He is like kind of snoozing and dreaming about all these fun things. So many fun cards you can make with this set. I did make mine with a little bit more of a kid audience in mind, because this fill your tummy with cake and eat cake all day, and I guess if we're being honest, who doesn't like to eat cake? But here we go. Let's go ahead and share the cards. The first one that I have here, these are some elements I made with the kit, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. Let's move those over. The first one that I have here is a shaker card, and I put not only some sequins, but also a few pieces of that cake. We've got the sleeping monster, sentiment, the shaking sequins and cake pieces. I've told you I love embossing folders. I don't know how long this is going to last, this little phase that I'm in, but I just can't get enough of them. So I have used a cloud embossing folder, and then I used a cloud die that's actually not part of this stamp set. The cloud die that they have, there is one included, sort of a thought bubble more than a cloud, but it was a little bit too small. I did try to stick with the stamp set as much as possible, but I pulled in a few things from my stash here and there. So I colored these stamps in 3 different ways for these 6 cards, and I am planning to talk with you guys a little bit briefly about that near the end of this video, but I'm also thinking about doing a video just on the way that I colored the stamps, and maybe giving people some ideas or inspiration for coloring stamps in the future. With these, I used alcohol markers for this card in particular, but again, sleeping monster, open the card up, happy birthday, eat cake all day. I do think that's kind of cute and fun with that shaker element included. Next card that we have is this one. I used an emboss resist. So this says fill your tummy with cake. I did use some distress inks on this example to give the background some color. I also colored the happy birthday banner. First I stamped it with VersaFine black ink, and then I clear embossed it, heat embossed it, and covered it with that squeezed lemonade distress ink, which is one of the inks I used for blending on the background of the card. Sleeping monster again. That is the only monster stamp that came in the kit, so he appears on every one of these 6 cards. But then when you open it up, kind of a little surprise, you see that he's dreaming a little bit, and there's some cake pieces for him. I used a cutout on this one, which I thought was a sort of a fun touch. Next card is another that I used distressed inks to color blend that background. Once I was done with that color blending, I used some curved dies, they're edge dies, and I went ahead and created this valley. So I did that by cutting out this little centerpiece, really more near the top than the center, I guess, but I cut out that piece, popped the top and the bottom up using foam tape, and then added, look at, he's just dreaming about these cakes going right through his dreams. Kind of like counting sheep, but instead he's counting cake. How fun is that? And then happy birthday, open it up, eat cake all day. Next, we have fill your tummy with cake. This one is a window card. This has, I know I've talked a lot previously about Tina with Cards and Coffee Time, and I think Tina is phenomenal. Another card maker that I really enjoy watching is Jennifer Mcguire, and most of you are probably familiar with her, very well known for sharing her techniques. A while back, she shared a window card with a twist. She used tulle instead of clear acetate or something similar. I didn't have any tulle, so I took a look at what I do have, and I actually used a mesh ribbon. So this came on a gift some time ago. It was tied as a bow from my friend Leslie. Thank you so much, Leslie. Shout out to you. And when I get things like that, the bow is just so pretty. I have a couple of baskets. I try to keep things organized. I have one that's sort of for gift packaging, ribbons, bows, tissue paper, that kind of thing. And when I'm looking for an element for one of my cards or even another craft, if I don't have exactly what I think I need, or if I don't know what I need, I go straight away to those baskets to see if I might be able to get creative and figure something out. So fill your tummy with cake, that mesh ribbon window, happy birthday, that's also heat embossed, and then nom 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 with that matching piece of cake. I think this is adorable. And this is a different type of coloring I did. This one I used Distress inks. And again, we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Next one, I did want to make at least one card that was not a birthday card. And I also tried to make this one with a specific masculine edge. I wanted it to be a little bit more masculine than feminine, so I went with a little bit more of that type of color scheme. And this one, again, that sleeping monster, the cake, and then you open it up. I could eat you up in that little sentiment. Gives you plenty of space to write your own message, and I do think that's kind of a fun twist. And the only card I created, which is not a birthday card. Finally, and possibly my favorite, I do typically save my favorite for last. Here we have a card where this isn't even embossed, I just white stamped the cake all over the back. I did heat emboss Fill Your Tummy with Cake. For the white, if you're curious, I used the Hero Arts Unicorn Pigment ink. I love that stuff. It's amazing. The monster, I colored him on craft paper using alcohol markers. The white is all gel pen. And I used, this is my first card, with an action wobbler. Check this out, you guys. How fun is that? What kid do you know who wouldn't sit there and have a little bit of fun with this card before he moved on to the next item? I really do think that is, even adults, I think that's just adorable. So fill your tummy with cake, and then this one simply says happy birthday. You guys, thanks so much for joining me for this card share. I'm not going to get too long-winded, but I will share with you a little bit about what I do. You saw earlier that I had these elements up at the beginning, and the reason I did that, I've mentioned this before as well, but when I start off with a kit or a stamp set, I like to sit down and I put on some fun TV, something that I've probably seen before that doesn't require my attention but entertains me just a little bit, and I love to just dive in and create stamp, color, die cut, and I'll just make a bunch of these. So I made pretty much everything before I even knew what my first card was going to look like. I just like to enjoy the process of creating and do that a little bit. And then I put them sort of in these different dishes, kind of keeping them separated. So I might put my littlest elements like the cakes and the candles, these little adorable candles, into this tiny little bowl, and then my monsters in the larger bowl. And then once I've got a bunch of those created, I will sit down and start creating my cards, deciding what they're going to look like, and trying to use up those elements that I have made and create different cards using, again, that one kit or stamp set. So for this particular kit, I did some with Distress ink blending. As far as my coloring of the stamps, I did some with Distress ink painting, and I did some with alcohol marker coloring. And I do think that I'll come back with a video that tells a little bit more about that. I am also planning a video on, of course, a card share for the April 2018 My Monthly Hero card kit. And I was thinking I might also do a video on my opinion on some value products and where you're getting a better value on some card making supplies that are commonly used from a beginner card maker perspective, because I am, again, a beginner card maker, and I know a lot of other people are just starting with this awesome hobby as well. So I thought I'd share a little bit of what I learned on the very beginning end of this, as far as where it might be a good idea to save money and where it might not be a great idea to go for that value product. So if anybody has any comments, if you have any feedback on any of that, I'd love to hear it. If you have any questions for me, specific products I've used, colors I've used, anything like that. Again, the star of the show is this Eat Cake All Day Hero Arts Stamp and Cut stamp set. I absolutely love it. I can see myself making lots of cards with it in the future. But if you have any questions, please definitely leave me a comment below. If you are interested in seeing future videos from me, I'd love it if you'd go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for spending your time with me. I do appreciate it, and I hope you have a great weekend and that you make some awesome things. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.